Somewhere out there in the oceans and the mountains is a place where time does not exist. When we get to that place, there is a voice in us that challenges us to go one step further. And those who find that place and then return to the presence of others become the speakers. They are the messengers.
The ocean talks to us in different ways, talks to everyone in different ways. For me, because of my culture, because of who I am, because of being Hawaiian, our ancestors has taught us to read the elements, to read the wind, to read the earth, to read the ocean, the waves, the water, the reefs, the fish, the marine life, because there's signs that tell you what is happening or what is about to happen. When there's certain currents that's moving, certain tidal currents, it's telling you that the surf is coming up. When the clouds are moving in a certain direction, or the color of the sunset is telling you of different storms that's moving across. There's so many different signs that the ocean, the skies, that will communicate to you if you know what you're looking for.
Towing surfing is using a jet ski to be towed into waves that is too big to paddle into.
It's a sport of a team, of a group. You can only survive by your teammate, from the man who's pulling you into the wave to the man who's safetying you from the side. When that lifeguard has to respond to a worst case scenario, it's a life and death situation. These people are pulling into the biggest barrels in the biggest waves, in the deepest zone, in the hardest impact area, in the most extreme conditions. There's no way humanly possible you could paddle into these waves. So when you wipe out into these massive volume of surf, you're under for just a long, long time. You really need to train not only your mind, but your your body and your soul get ready for that intense wipe out. What I've been doing lately is I grab this 80-pound lava rock and we'll go running in the channel. We'll just go back and forth, just keep going until we pretty much just tire ourselves out. My biggest strength is knowing my weaknesses and try to strengthen my weaknesses in whatever I do.
We knew this day was coming. This is the first time that anyone on the island of Oahu has ever attempted to ride waves of this size. We've been out there on 30-foot days before, and this was bigger. This was much larger. January 28th, 1998. First time 35 and 45-foot waves were ever ridden. It's a milestone that'll be measured from now on.
sane. Without fear, you do something insane. Of climbing have taught me to use that fear as kind of a friend and let it focus my concentration and just bring me into the moment of what I'm doing and really concentrate on the climbing and perform better.
I realized that I've got to control that fear and select from that fear and determine what's real and what's imaginary. There's a learning curve there, and over time you get acclimated to more technical, steep terrain, and you grow into it.
To get out into places that no human has ever been before, and who knows what's there. And often that can take everything you've got to get through the face and up to the top or down to the bottom or halfway up and down. Soloing's climbing without a rope, climbing by yourself without a rope. If you fall, you're going to fall away the ground. It's just you and the waterfall and you're climbing. The feeling is freedom. It's just freedom. Soloing, you're alone, and that has rewards, but I think you probably glean more rewards from interacting with your partner, or in my case, going climbing with my wife.
I think the self-reliance aspect of climbing can make you aware of the possibility of doing things you never imagined. And I think it just makes you realize how far a human being can push themselves. If you do something like that with style and control, that's a perfect day.
Yeah, I think it's the feeling of the mountain is something that you have within you, and I don't think I could ever live away from that. I know that there are lots of powers and spirits. I feel that every day. The mountains in Alaska are just something spectacular. You're just surrounded by mountains as far as you can see, and then you have the chance to be able to ski all that. I mean, to pick up a line and say, I want to ski this or I want to ski that, and that's just incredible.
It's a weird feeling in the pit of your stomach when you're out there, and you feel like it's time travel. You could have been there millions of years ago, and it wouldn't have been much different. The snow quality up here is incredible. The mountains are just really beautiful and steep, very steep. Skiing is an expression of style. It's how you interpret the mountain. It's how you use the mountain. It's how you flow down the mountain and what you choose to do with whatever's in front of you. With snow safety, I always check. First of all, wherever I go, I check with the people who are in the know, the most knowledgeable people in the area. And I find out from them what the snowpack's been doing. Those are the people that are gonna save your life, because if you don't check with someone and you go out there on your own, you can get smoked.
No, I don't think you want to beat the mountain, because again, you know that the mountain will always be stronger than you, but you just have to be in harmony with the mountain. And once you can achieve that, it means that you've understood a little bit, like a very little bit of how the mountain functions.
Sloughing is one of the finer things in Alaska. It's when snow moves with you while you're skiing. And it's not really an avalanche in the sense that the slope fractures and the whole slope starts moving with you. It's more that the snow that you're skiing starts moving with you. And once that snow starts moving, it takes all the rest of the snow below it with it. And then eventually it's this huge mass of snow moving all around you. And either you're in front of it, you're behind it, or you're in it. And if you're in it, you don't want to stay in it. If you're in front of it, you want to stay in front of it. And if you're behind it, that's probably the safest place to be, but it's not always the most fun because you have to go slow then. It's an amazing feeling skiing when the snow is moving. I guess I got some first-hand knowledge of how good a helmet is for you. It wasn't a serious exposure on that line that I was risking death. I knew I could tumble, otherwise I wouldn't have aired that top air. I tried to recover as hard as I could, and For a split second, I thought I had. I guess that's what usually happens, and I just couldn't pull it off. And I knew the rocks were coming. I also knew that I could clear the cliff band, so I was basically hoping I wouldn't hit my head. And as it happened, I did hit my head, and the helmet was there for me.
The addiction to adrenaline is what gets most people into these action sports, and once you get hooked on that adrenaline that comes pretty easily through snowboarding or through surfing, you get fueled up. You do a run and you get this adrenaline feeling, and then the endorphins flow and you get addicted to that feeling. But after a while, that feeling, I don't think it's really enough to keep you fully stoked as a lifestyle. But the things that go with it, the people you meet and the attitudes that they have, and just your integration with the environment, the mountains, with the ocean, that whole lifestyle environment is what keeps me going. I think the best part about snowboarding is that while I'm doing it, there's nothing else on my mind. When I'm snowboarding and I'm really in tune with myself and in tune with the run, I feel like I'm experiencing the moment for exactly what it is, no distractions, no hindrances. It's just that next turn in front of me. And when that happens, it's a really calm sort of feeling. It's like I'm in the right place. I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, and everything is all lined up. It's just a natural flow just with the rest of the mountain. I've had somebody explain it to me that what I do, it's an escape from real life. It's a way that I can go out there and just be on my own terms and escape the harshness of reality. And to me, it's rather than an exit from something else, it's really an entrance. It's like you're really in tune with the type of person that you want to be, and you're comfortable with who you are and your position in the environment in the world, and everything that defines you. It seems to be all lined up where it should be. And it doesn't last long. It's usually over by the time you make the last turn of your run, and you take your bindings off and you look back up the hill and you see the tracks, and your mind slowly wanders back into some sort of reality. But for a while there, while you're coming down the hill, it seemed just right.
For me to have the same excited feeling of learning and accomplishment that I had my first day snowboarding, I have to continue to push myself and do things I didn't think I could do, so that I have that feeling of overcoming a fear or accomplishing something. I do get that feeling that I had my first day from pushing myself, doing something I didn't think I could do. I feel very tiny on a mountain, and I know that I have to be smart and pick my lines carefully, and that I can enjoy the mountains and experience maybe the best times of my life there, but I have to do it with a lot of respect because we're so small and those big mountains could just take you out in a second.
I'm not really out there doing things or changing things or making a big impact on Mother Nature. I'm just a part of it, a really small part of it, and it's sort of calming to know that all that exists in a really pure state, whether you're there or not.
I realized right from the very first time I windsurfed that I was hooked. The first time I got on a board and lifted up that sail and just started moving 5-10 feet and fell, I knew I was hooked right off the start. Whenever I'm in the ocean, I feel no worries. So if I go windsurfing for a few hours, I can forget everything. There's a thing called mana, which is your spiritual power, your force. And for many Hawaiians, their mana comes from the ocean. Their power is derived from the ocean. of the athletes from the nature sports share something very common. And it's because we're all out there where we feel our strongest. And I think all of these athletes do it because they feel that mana.
The feelings that you get, even just preparing to go out on a big day, are what drive you to do it. And it's that excitement and that adrenaline and that anticipation that makes it such a rush. You know, just rigging up, getting out there, the whole preparation, getting out in the water, seeing it, the first wave, you know, moving in. It's an amazing feeling, just being close to that much power. The core of the whole thing is fun. It's enjoyment. It doesn't matter how good you are, how great a waterman you are, how great a swimmer you are, you have to respect the amount of power that's there. People in any sport that have done well and maintained a grounded position and continue to do it because they love it, never really let it get to their head. I really respect that, no matter what the sport.
Each different rock type has a different way of climbing on it. You have to be sensitive to the forms on the rock, and you have to adapt yourself to that shape. And that's what's nice about climbing. You're in a beautiful place, and it's really inspiring. There's no better way to learn about the nature of life than to try to go with that flow and do the best you can each time. When you step off the ground on a climb, you know it's going to be an adventure, and you have to deal with everything that comes your way. Climbing is very simple, and you have to rely on yourself, and you have to figure it out for yourself. You have to be responsible for making decisions and being a little bit creative. It's about the relationship with nature and also human nature, because I'm usually with a climbing partner, and that's one of the things that gives meaning to my climbing, is having fun with my friends in beautiful places and discovering things all the time.
You learn so many things about yourself in climbing and how to relate to other people, how to solve problems, how to avoid problems. You go to sleep and you're dreaming about some climb or some beautiful place, and you get up and you go out there and do it. That's sort of what it's all about. Everyone climbs for different reasons. People take different things away from climbing, whether it's just the beauty of the environment, the feeling of the movement, being with your partner. Some people just climb because they want to say they've done the hardest route.
I climbed everything. I climbed trees, and I just liked being active. I liked being engaged in the environment and playing outdoors, so it was natural for me. The imagination is really key, especially in climbing, because you look at the form of nature and you're trying to adapt to it and flow with it. And kids do that very well. They don't think about it. They just look at the situation and they try to imagine what's possible instead of being told what's possible or not possible. When you're in a beautiful place, you can connect with that energy in that place in the world. When you're there, you're opening up your vision to the rock. And you can't really think about other things when you're climbing. You're just thinking about what you're doing and trying to bring a certain lightness to it. You don't want to feel heavy. You want to feel like it doesn't take any energy at all. You're just flowing up this beautiful rock. Climbing has changed me in some ways. It's taught me what works and what doesn't really. And when I rely on my intuition and I do what I believe in, what I feel, it's usually right. And I think you need to develop that so that you can pay attention to it more. And that's why when you go climbing, you bring it back to simplicity and you rely on a little bit of equipment, but mostly yourself, your own decisions and feeling about being in that place at that time. You learn respect when you are sensitive to nature and all its forms and beauty, and you can stop and listen and be open to perceiving it. Nature is the best form of art to me.